Right, well, basically on Monday we landed on site. We had a quick walk of the job together, looking at what was to do, service-wise, this and that. Did an initial trace out with our cat and Jenny, looped onto a few things, looped onto the servicing side to try and find the line of the main, and basically found a hole to dig, dug that, lead finished doing the sawing. I was walking up to take the Jenny off the main because we'd got everything for the patch we wanted, and then we just heard this just such a horrible noise. It was like a big buzzing noise, and then basically I heard Lee shouting and we heard Dave screaming, and then the next thing we just went running down the street like to see what had happened, and basically all it was a big fireball. We couldn't see Dave. We could just hear him screaming, and then he just emerged out the flames, come jumping out the side of the hole, and basically his hair was on fire.
Just flames. Felt obviously red hot. I was on fire. I could hear the lads screaming to get out, and I was just stuck in it. And I thought, I don't know how I was going to get out. And it seemed as quick as it started, it stopped. And I was out the hole. And if it wasn't for the 4 lads who I work with, the doctors have told us that their actions of putting me under the water, getting the hose pipe, and keeping me under the water, is probably what saved my life and stopped us from having a heart attack. If it wasn't for me, people slag that PPE off, wearing gloves, wearing jumpers. If I didn't have that jumper on, if I didn't have them gloves on, if I didn't have them trousers on, if I didn't have them boots on, I definitely would have been fried. Now, my hands, there's nothing on them. I've got a burn there and I've got exit wounds there. The rest of my injuries are all internal, which they tell us I'm going to get better. It's all CK levels in my blood. It's supposed to be 150. Mine were 3,000 when it happened, and these 2,000 now.
Obviously, I was totally shocked when I got the call. Like Dave said, when you watch all the videos and the inductions and things, in my mind, I was going to find him, you know. I mean, how I drove home, I don't know. I was obviously upset, but I was angry. I was angry with myself, because it was me that got him on this game, you know. Your man now, Carl. I was angry with the companies that are running it.
Hands and arms were just swelling. They were double the size of what they normally were. They were blue. The nurses, they said that that's because of the internal burns that he'd suffered from the electrocution. That's why he was so swelling, because he was just burning on the inside. So when he got admitted onto the ward, he was put on to loads of different drips. That was basically to flush all his system, flush all the muscles. His ECGs were normal, but then when the consultant had came and had explained everything that had gone on and why, basically that his work boots had saved his life. If he hadn't have had them work boots on, he wouldn't have survived that amount of electricity going through his body. Said how lucky he was to be alive with such little outside burns as well. They'd also said about the 4 lads that work with him about how they'd hosed him. They'd got a hose pipe from somewhere, and they'd hosed him down. And they'd basically said if they hadn't have hosed him down, even after the fire had gone out after his body, if they hadn't carried on hosing him with the cold, freezing cold water, that because his internal body temperature would have got so high, and because the amount of voltage that he had, he would have just had a heart attack. So basically the work boots and them 4 lads that he worked with saved his life.
I mean, touch wood, I haven't hit a thing for years and years, but I've been that close loads of times. And, you know, it's him up there, innit, I suppose, you know. People can say you've got to use a safety shovel. You get frustrated with them, because you can't do the job that you want to. You know, you can't do it as good as you want to or as quick as you want to. And them air lancers are very good, as long as the ground conditions are right, you know. And yeah, push them all the time, get them to use them, you know. And I would hate to go to work. There's some young lads working with us, and I would hate to help their families have got to go through, you know.
now I'm so thankful that he's still here. I think, and 4 lads, I don't know if they realise that how much they've had, the part that they've had to play, and obviously the trauma that they've gone through seeing him. But if it wasn't for them 4 lads, I wouldn't have Dave now. My kids wouldn't have the dad.